I put my trust in you, and I trust in love. I put my trust in you, I put my trust in love. I put my trust in you, and I trust in love. I put my trust in you, I put my trust in love.
Hello, friends. My name is Dave Miller.
And I'm Niall Spain, and we're your fuck buddies.
We're a dating and sex advice podcast where we take your sticky, sexy situations and turn them into sexy, sticky situations.
Simply put, we find questions online, if websites are working, and we answer them for you right here, right now, in your ears, sometimes on stage, always on Patreon. Go support us if you want to. But this week, we're going to talk about She Hates My Pirate Ship Bed.
What an idiot.
She canceled because she said boba tea is too suspicious. Boyfriend is on the No Nut November server where girls egg him on to give in. Please help.
Huh.
And girlfriend is awful at sex. How do I fix this? I just thought I'd jump in. Do you have anything to say before we really just
Not
hit that
really.
first? You know what? Good.
Because like anything I'm going to say, I'm going to start talking about, and then it's going to be like a spiral into what we did the last time when He Who Shall Not Be Named won.
This is why Throw RA Bed 98, my 19-year-old female boyfriend, 22-year-old male, has a pirate ship bed and refuses to change it. Help? Yes, you read correctly. My 22-year-old boyfriend has a replica of the Black Pearl as his bed. We're both in college currently. I live in the dorm while my boyfriend has his own apartment. Out of respect for my roommate, I sleep over at my boyfriend's place instead of him sleeping in my bed since our dorm isn't that big. I love the Black Pearl, and I think it's cute, but we need a real bed at this point. I asked him if we could think about getting a new bed, but he said it would ruin the aesthetic. I offered to chip in, but he declined. We're not big people, but a twin-size mattress does not work. My boyfriend is 6'3" and hangs off the bed. That's the current situation at the moment. I'm headed over to the Black Pearl now. Wish me luck.
Okay, I need so much more detail. When you say it's a replica of the Black Pearl, are we talking mass? Are we talking like the figurehead at the front? Or is it just like a generic pirate ship?
Are we talking curse?
Is there a curse?
You know, like,
can he die?
does he walk under the water sometimes instead of getting a boat?
Yeah.
Because he a skeleton.
Like, there's a lot
When
here.
the moon shines through the curtains, does he go, "You're in one"? I guess I should do the full quote. Best start believing in ghost stories, Miss Throw RA Bed 98. You're in one.
It's like, because there's
Sorry, that was so perfect. I should probably explain that Niall was the one that said that,
we
not
didn't.
Joffrey Rush, whatever the fuck.
Like, is it just like a shitty IKEA like children's pirate bed? Because then I would agree with you. Yes, not cool. But if it's a custom made,
That's fun, cool shit. And that's the thing, right?
It's not if you don't fit, right? I think.
Or it's so cool he has it even though he doesn't fit. That's the thing. What if it is so fucking cool?
You are entering into your college years in which the most important thing is facilitating a bed that can be fucked in.
Well, he has a girlfriend. He's doing it.
And she hates it.
Well, get a better girlfriend. Yeah. My real questions, I got a few. One, it'll ruin the aesthetic. Is the whole room pirate themed?
Is the rest of the room Pirates of the Caribbean themed?
Because if you haven't told us this, I'm not going to help you. I won't. You don't deserve to be helped if you don't tell me that.
Yeah, if I walk in and it looks like a top tier sort of like, you know, Michelin listed tiki
Pirate
bar
restaurant,
I would be okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
If it does fit the aesthetic, then that. But if it's just like what I imagine every other college 22-year-old male's room is, which is a
mattress
white
on the floor,
a stark white room with maybe a couple like dog-eared posters and a like
all
tiny
of Pirates of the Caribbean,
yeah, like a tiny IKEA desk with a gaming PC. Like, then no, it's not ruining your aesthetic, bro.
But it is, because it's the only aesthetic in the room.
Yes.
If you get rid of it, it's just college. Like, you go into his roommates, exact same room, bar one thing.
Yeah.
Pirate ship bed.
Yeah, is what sets them apart.
Now, she seems to say the pirate bed is the problem at the start. But as we move on, seems to just be size of bed. So
get a bigger pirate bed.
a bigger pirate bed. Maybe a pirate armada. A bed armada.
Get the, I don't know the name of the ship.
The Flying Dutchman?
Is that the one?
That's the one that can go underwater?
No.
Where Davy Jones lives?
I was going to say the one, the British one. The big like war machine one. I can't remember what it's called.
Fuck, I should know.
Man of Arms? Man at Arms?
No.
Man of Arms?
Man of War?
Man of War? Man of War is the name of the type of ship.
Type. Yeah. Fuck, is it like, it's not like the Commodore, the S,
No, I believe it's like a woman's name, I think.
Okay, hold on. You keep talking while I look this up.
While we look up the name of the British vessel, because it's like the one that's getting like blown up in slow motion, right? And that's like that big ass. Get one of those, and then you're safe. Then you're good, because then you get a king size.
The Dauntless.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, get a Dauntless.
Get a Dauntless.
Hey, keep that one for, like, get a Great Dane and he can sleep in that one. And then you've got Pirate Ship Armada bed.
Yeah.
A bed Armada.
Yeah.
Words are hard.
That's your, like, I think the problem is you're saying, let's get a new bed. What you're not saying is let's get a bigger pirate bed.
Yes. And that's the thing. He's going to be convinced. If you're saying he's hearing, I want to strip away all the fun and love you have for life. Yar.
Yeah.
You could say, let's have more fun and more room. And maybe your legs won't ache in the morning because they're hanging off the bed.
Yeah. Maybe you can shiver me timbers better if if we're not spilling out of the bed every time we move.
Yeah.
I can't imagine trying to sleep in a twin size bed by myself, let alone with a 6'3" man in there with me.
I'd figure it out, like, because I've done it on, like, trips and it's whatever. It's like, I don't care. I'm so tired. I'm going to sleep. But, like, at home. This is
your day-to-day nightly routine.
That's how you know we're old, though.
I would be unhappy at any age, I think. I never liked, like, staying in someone else's bed, especially if it was a smaller one.
Oh, I thought you were saying sleeping there alone. I'm pretty sure that's the exact words you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be, I also would not want to be in a tiny bed.
I never want to be in bed with anybody unless we're fucking. Like, I need my space and I'm a warm boy. Don't cuddle me. Like, I have a king size bed right now and it's incredible because they're so far away. Sometimes I roll over and I try to touch them and I can't. And that's a dream.
Oh, I wish I had a king size bed. So that's the thing.
If you join our Patreon, Dane can get a king size.
You just need to get a bigger pirate bed.
Bigger pirate bed.
Because again, if it's the size of the bed that's the problem, then you need to be like, we need a bed fit for a pirate king sized bed.
Yeah.
And then there you go. Problem solved. I don't think, again, this is for me, I don't think you should be ruining it. Like, let this dude, the world's so fucked.
Mm-hmm.
If having a pirate bed brings him any, like, even just the smallest amount of joy, fucking have your pirate beds. Usually, maybe like when we started this podcast, I would have been like, it's time to grow up, man. Like, you're in a kid's bed, blah, 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 blah. But fuck it. Like, I literally do not care anymore. If you are happy and something brings you joy, fucking do it. As long as everyone's safe and consensual.
Yeah. Like, make it fit you and your lifestyle. But, like, who cares if it's a pirate bed? If I went home with someone who was cool and normal and they just had, like, a fucking sick pirate bed, I wouldn't give a shit.
Yeah.
I think it was rad.
I wouldn't be like, I would probably be like, I'm going to fuck you in this pirate bed. And then I'm going to leave because I'm not.
Okay, if it's a twin bed, yes, I'm leaving. You know what I mean? But if it's this upgraded pirate ship bed.
Oh, if it's a king size pirate bed? With like the masts are like a canopy, like the sails are the canopy.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, like
try to get me out of that bed.
Hoist the jib.
My jib's already hoisted. Thinking about it.
Just cover yourself in with the sails. Ooh.
I just, like, be honest. If you want a bigger bed, say that. Take the pirate ship out of it. If you're upset about the pirate ship, don't say you need a bigger bed to try to, like, slip through the radar. You know what I mean? Just be honest. You know what I mean? And if you're embarrassed by it, why? Who sees this? Why do you care?
That's,
you know what I mean?
Honestly, that's kind of like my thing, right? Like, it's the same thing as, like, when someone's like, oh, my boyfriend's like a big anime nerd or a magic nerd or a whatever nerd,
fucking
right?
Sick. Great.
Like, what does it matter? If your friends are like, your boyfriend's a loser, it's your job to stand up for your boyfriend.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
also
or
get
anyone.
better friends. You know what I mean? Like, fucking, we play D&D all the time. Like, not historically a cool thing.
No.
I write fantasy novels.
Yeah.
You know, it's not cool. But, like, if my partner didn't think that, then I probably wouldn't be dating them and they'd also suck.
Yeah. So it's like, if you're worried that, like, your friends are going to find out that he sleeps on a pirate bed and that is going to have any impact on your life, then you got shitty friends. You're weird.
Yeah.
And like, he's done nothing wrong.
It feels very juvenile. You know what I mean? You're like,
and it's weird to say when we're talking about someone who's a pirate bed that you're the one being juvenile.
Exactly. And that's what you should think. Like, in this situation, he has a Black Pearl replica bed and you're the one being a baby.
Yeah.
So get over it.
But I do, like, you are an adult. You need to have an adult bed.
Yes. Yes. And if the only reason he isn't getting a bed that can fit him is because he loves this pirate bed so much, like, that sucks, but he does need to get a bigger bed. Like,
there is a level of growing up that needs to be done. Like,
medically, I think he needs one. If he's hanging off that bed, it's so bad for your joints.
It's, especially when you're that tall, he's already
got a shorter lifespan than everybody else.
Did you know, I can't remember the exact statistics, but my partner was reading out the statistics of how many people actually have, like, a visible six-pack. And it's something like within a million...
Just 3 people.
Within, like, a million people, like, 40 people will have a visible, like, six-pack out of that million. they were like, oh, out of like everyone in New York, like 300 and something people have visible six packs. And I'm like, that seems crazy to me.
Yeah, because the way the media shows is that we all have them. You should have one.
I
You're a
guess.
guy. You should have one.
But I feel like I know like 4 people that have
Well,
six packs.
You're thinking probably of like visible abs.
Yeah.
A six pack is like defined.
I guess,
right?
yeah. I guess what we're talking about. Yeah, I guess I would need the definition of what we're talking about.
Also, it's like, are we talking visible when you're not tensing? Like just constant,
existing?
like
Yeah.
always looking
Because I would
shredded?
believe
'Cause
that.
That's wild.
Yeah,
You know.
I believe that. But yeah, I don't know why that has to do with anything. I don't remember what we're talking about that made me think of that.
Pirate
But-
beds?
Yeah.
It's because Davy Jones, that's what they call his abs, his Davy Jones locker.
Yeah.
Uh,
I have a Davy Jones locker because it's just one solid container.
hey, I got a dauntless right here. She canceled because she said boba tea is too suspicious.
Hey, I agree. Next question.
Yeah, this is by
Boba tea sucks.
The Divine Hustle. I met a girl at my college and we'd casually been texting through the week. Agreed to meet up today and go to a small plaza with a bunch of different food and snack spots. Earlier today, I texted her and said we should grab boba tea in the plaza. She said, on second thoughts, the fact that I want balls in my mouth as a grown man is suspicious and probably isn't going to work out. I sent the laughing emoji because I thought she was joking. She said she's serious. No grown man would want boba tea, and it's just weird to her. I called her. She didn't answer. I didn't reply to that text. I haven't heard from her since, and I'm stunned. Has anyone ever heard of this? I'm guessing I dodged a bullet. If she's judging me off boba tea, maybe I should have picked a better suggestion or something.
No. Okay. Look, we're going to go right back to the second question where if this is someone, I fucking hate boba tea. Boba tea, I think, is one of the grossest things that's ever been invented.
I don't understand the obsession with it.
I also don't.
I've had it, and it's been fine. Would I go out of my way to get it?
As
No.
a heavily texture boy,
Mhm.
the idea of having a drink and then all of a sudden there's a gummy clump,
The gummy ones are better. The other ones are like,
like the tapioca.
yeah,
or like
the gummy ones that like you can get ones that like burst and whatever. They're kind of good,
No.
but the other ones just kind of taste like or feel like wet carpet almost.
Yeah, and like anything, like it's the same reason why I don't like mojitos or like anything with like
Mojitos
weird,
just suck.
weird like particulates.
Mhm.
Because like if I'm drinking something, I don't want like chunks of like stuff in my
Yeah.
mouth.
There's something about boba where like you have to pay attention to your drink, and it's like I don't want to do that. But again, I don't mind it. Like, you know, if we were in a place and they gave me one, I'd be like, okay, I wouldn't go out of my way for it. It's fine. This weird.
Yeah, because it's not about the boba tea, it's about the balls. It's like you have such a weird hang up that like, is the man not allowed to eat spaghetti meatballs?
No, not all.
Is that an unacceptable
Yeah.
thing? Like, can he
Where
eat,
does it end?
like how
Skittles?
round does it
Can
have to be? Can ravioli? Can you have ravioli?
Can you have ravioli? Can you have Skittles?
Can you have Skittles?
Can you have-
Smarties? Timbits?
What
or
if you-
donut holes
what
for
if you-
people who aren't Canadian?
What if you cut a sausage into like chunks?
Rounds,
You
yeah.
know? What? No, maybe they're not even round. Maybe it's square. Like,
Yeah.
is that too close?
Can you have potatoes?
No.
Like what? I like. It's such a strange. Is it the sucking that you're also like you're thinking sucking and balls?
Can't use a straw. Well,
And that's-
that is a thing that people have been like, men
Yeah.
shouldn't use straws. This person is
Imagine trying
homophobic.
to, imagine trying to drink bubble tea with no straw. Just getting fucking hit in the face with all these.
Just you have to eat it, like force it back. You just get like a feeding bag.
Yeah. No, it's very, very strange. It's wild to, I'm sure a lot of people think it, but it's wild to out loud with your words say that's why you're not going on a date with someone.
What do you mean that people think that?
I'm sure there's a lot of,
Shitty people, sure.
yes,
But,
yes,
like,
yes.
It
But-
almost sounds like you were saying that's a reasonable thing to think.
No. What I'm saying is it's even
Well,
less
even more,
reasonable because you've actually put it into like
Yeah.
words and thought to another person of saying like I'm sure there's a lot of shitty people who like look at a guy drinking a straw and get the ick
Yeah, I love
or
it. Yeah.
whatever, right? But imagine like feeling that way and then feeling inclined to be like, I have to walk
Yeah,
up to
I'm
that
gonna
person
actually admit how
and
shit
be like,
I am.
you drinking out of that straw must mean you want to suck a penis because it's
Mhm.
vaguely shaped the same thing.
Yeah, which even like if that made sense, which it doesn't, you're just being like, I'm a huge homophobe.
Yeah.
Also, bi-erasure. Like, what are you doing? It's wild. It's absolutely wild. I would love like this person. You know, they probably complain about like, oh, there's no good guys out there. There's no one out there. Like blah blah blah. And I'm like, the things you're complaining about. Maybe if you weren't such a shitbag at this juncture, you'd actually give people a chance. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it's like the tryhard who's like, you want to go to a fucking bar where I can drink whiskey neat, a bourbon bar, and they're like so manly, and then they suck shit. You know what I mean? Like people who play into this weird like ultra hyper masculine. Like if she was like, "Oh, want to do boba?" He'd be like, "What am I?
You want me to suck balls?"
Yeah. Is this a musical or something? Like, what are you talking about? This sucks. But you know what sucks almost more than this? The fact that the person's like, "Did I dodge a bullet?
Yeah.
Is this unreasonable? Come on, you know."
And that's why I want to swing it back to question one, where it's like, if you like boba tea, I promise you will find a woman that will also like boba tea, who won't judge you for liking boba tea. So don't cut out the things that you enjoy and that bring you happiness in order to appease a random woman that you didn't even really know.
And the best part is, this has brought you more happiness because it has foisted this woman away from you.
Mm-hmm.
And like, maybe it doesn't feel like it when you get that rejection text, but like, this boba has saved you here.
Because, like, think of it this way, and this is how I usually, anytime I would get a rejection of some sort, I would try to, like, figure out the positives of it. Unless it was because I did something fucking stupid, and then I would try to learn the lesson to make sure I didn't repeat that mistake. Okay, you pivot, and you're like, sorry, let's not do boba, let's go get fucking bourbons or whatever to prove that you're manly. It goes well, you go on a date or you start dating or whatever, and then it's another thing that you really enjoy. Video games, D&D with your friends, whatever.
Drinking from a straw.
That's gross.
Using an umbrella.
I can't believe you're hanging out with your friends. I can't believe you're playing video games. I can't believe you're playing whatever.
You love the fucking soundtrack from Moana? Really?
Yeah. And then so all of a sudden you can't listen to fucking You're Welcome anymore.
Or How Far I'll Go.
Or the song about the crab.
The song about the crab. No one likes
Shiny.
That, let's be fair.
What? Shiny's pretty good.
It's fine. But you're not going to listen to it. You're not going to sing it with the boys when you're in the streets of fucking...
Bruges.
Yeah.
I feel like, okay, we don't really do this, but we have a finite amount of questions today because Reddit is down and we didn't get them. I don't know if we ever told this story, but we have mentioned it several times. And I just want to throw it out there just so people have a little bit of context. Sure. Niall and I and two of our friends did a Europe trip. They were only with us for a brief period at the beginning, but we went to Bruges, and at one point in time, we did lose one of them. And for whatever reason, I don't know why we were singing it so much, but we were singing How Far I'll Go.
All the time, yeah.
And because Moana had just recently come out at the time. And at one point in time, we lost our friend. No idea where he is. And Bruges isn't huge, but we were in like a huge like plaza square, like town square sort of thing. And we just started singing it. And then in the distance, you just hear, How far I'll go. And that's how we found him.
That's how we found him. It was the power of Moana.
And we just kept singing.
We found out how far he went, which was to the other side of the square to get Bicky burgers.
Yeah.
Which are...
And a cigarette, which he doesn't smoke.
Yeah. It was a great night. Like... When things like this happen, it's all too easy to be like, oh, rejection sucks. I'm lesser for it. But you really got to take a moment. As Dane said, it can go two ways. You either look at the positives of like, oh, this person sucks. Yeah. Which I'm not saying you got rejected. You go, bitch, fuck you. That's not it. That's not it. Because sometimes people just don't like you. And that's fine. Sometimes there isn't a lesson to be learned. And sometimes they don't suck. But you just like, they don't like me. And that's good. Still, because you don't want to be with someone that doesn't like you. Right?
Yeah, if the rejection was, hey, I'm really sorry, we've been chatting for a little bit, and I just don't feel any sort of like chemistry, and I don't want to waste either of our times. Yeah. That is a perfectly fine rejection, at which point in time, you're just, there's no plus minus.
Well, I think there's still a positive, is like, they were honest with you. That's great. Yeah. They're not wasting your time. That's great. You find it out now rather than in a week or two. Like, there are positives to pretty much all these things, right? If you fucked up, there's not really a positive there because you suck, but you can turn it into something good by getting better, right?
Right. If for example, if you were, something I used to do when I was younger, it was like, I would try to like turn conversation sexual, like at every possible. And I know that turned a lot of ladies off because it was just like, okay, fucking give it a rest. And it's like, if I had just been like, chill, I could have turned it into actual sex, most likely, you know what I mean? And it was a lesson that I learned. And it's like, so that's another thing, right? So it's like, you look and be like, oh, okay, I did a thing. Yeah. I'm going to try to learn from that. And whether it's like something as small as, maybe you were just a little too crass.
Yeah. Maybe you got a little nervous on the date and drank too much. You know what I mean? Yeah. Cause like I had this one date that, I thought went pretty well. And it was one of the few dates where I was like, oh, I think that went well. And we got on and then like we never, like nothing ever kind of happened after that. And it was one of the few I couldn't really point to anything, but this was like not too long after I moved over here where like I used to drink a lot more wasn't getting more drunk necessarily, but like it was just like a cultural thing. So I had like a bunch of beers, and I realized it probably just looked bad where she had like a drink or two, and I think I had like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm sure she was like, "Man, I'm not down with that." And that's fine. You know what I mean? And that was just a thing where I was like, oh, I think that was kind of a thing that probably stood out on this date where she was like, not my speed. And that's fine. But when people suck, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Right? Take it as a positive. You've saved yourself. They've saved you. The world has saved you. Right? Like, again, I went home with someone who said they didn't want to have sex. And then the next day, we're like talking to their fucking roommate in the next room. We're like, he's a fucking pussy. Like, he didn't have sex with me, blah, blah, blah. And then she was reaching out, trying to hang out. I'm like, no. You've done me the solid of teaching me you suck. So it's not negative that this is over. It's a really good thing because hanging out with you is just going to get worse. So take it as a positive or learn the lesson. Don't be shit. And that's it.
Yeah. For sure.
For sure.
But
Five sure.
But don't give up things that you like because a random woman has rejected you because of it.
Unless the thing you like is like torturing animals.
Yeah. Unless you really, really like putting like ducks in bags and throwing them off a cliff.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
This is by Glorious Trash. My 26-year-old female boyfriend, 25-year-old male, is in a No Nut November server where girls egg him on to give in already. I don't know how to feel. Please help. Pretty much the title. Boyfriend is in a server unlike one I've ever heard of. One that has people acting as those trying to go along with No Nut November and others egging them on or teasing them into making them quit the month-long abstinence. My boyfriend is steadfast abstinent with me for this stupid macho bullshit challenge. And now I find out he's got a flock of girls online taunting and teasing him and trying to essentially flirt him into coming. I just feel hollow and broken. Do I not fucking matter at all? Am I not a human being? I feel completely discarded and disregarded, and it makes me want to avoid him at all costs most days, which I hate because I genuinely love him. I keep bursting into tears or flying into a rage over the smallest and most inane shit because I'm so unbelievably on edge now. I just feel like I'm going crazy because he told me he doesn't know these girls nor care for them. So it's not a big deal. But if it's not a big deal, why is it carving a hole in my chest? Help, please.
Damn, I was going to say, like, you do need to bring it up to him and talk to him about it. But it seems like you've done that. And then he's been like, yeah, but they don't matter. This is fine. Don't worry about it. It's just random girls on the internet.
So, like, yes and no, because I don't feel like you've brought it up if you just say, it bothers me. And they're like, it's not a big deal. And then you leave it. You know what I mean? And even just the very end where she's like, if it's not a big deal, why is it carving a hole in my chest? He's saying it's not a big deal to him.
Yeah.
It could still be a big deal to you, which is why, like, it's not like he goes, it's not a big deal. And you're like, oh, shit.
Oh,
why do I feel that way then? Like,
yeah, you can't shoot someone and be like, that doesn't hurt.
It's not a big deal.
Fuck. Don't worry about that.
I feel like I'm bleeding to death, though.
I do feel like an internal organ has been ruptured.
Mm-hmm.
It's the whole No Nut November thing.
We get, like, I don't know if I love or hate November because we do get these questions and they're always, at least they're different.
I don't understand. Like, what was the origin of it? What was the intention of No Nut November? All right, I'm going to monologue again while Niall does some Googling.
Also, Pirates of the Caribbean, apparently.
Because for me, if this started as a way to sort of like deprogram yourself from like over usage of porn or anything like that, I think that's fine. I think if you take a moment and you want to be like, hey, I consume too much porn. It's rewiring my brain a little bit, perhaps desensitizing myself due to how much masturbating I do. If that's what you want to do, but like doing it for a month isn't going to change it. I can tell by Niall's laughter that it's not going to be great.
Well, there's a lot. It just takes a turn. Okay, No Nut November, also abbreviated to NNN, originally in 2011, but it was satirical, although participants started to claim that abstaining from ejaculating and not watching pornography had health benefits, and it really kind of came into popularity when there was an Urban Dictionary entry made for it. It's associated with the NoFap community, blah, 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 blah. But in 2017, a related internet challenge, Destroy Dick December, was started, serving as a counterpart, encouraging you to partake in excessive sexual activities in December.
Okay, so then absolutely not useful for anything.
No.
Because I imagine a lot of the people who are participating in No Nut November have the option to have Destroy Dick December with something other than their hand. And that might be...
Probably not, honestly.
That might be an unfair assumption.
I think this is how lonely men are, that the only way they can find camaraderie is by not coming. So no camaraderie.
Yeah, it's... getting back to the question. you have a problem with what he's doing.
Yes.
And I think it's a valid problem. I think it's a very strange thing to have this is a sexual relationship with other people, like strangers, albeit like not a physical one, but like this is really no different than sexting, depending on what they're sending, right? But like I assume they're saying things in a sexually explicit manner, hoping that it'll arouse them to the point where
sending pictures or videos. Like I don't really know how it works, but like so I want you to get to the bottom of why you're upset, and I want you to be able to explain it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think one, I'm giving you permission. You're allowed. This is definitely an area you can be upset in.
Yeah.
But like, do I not fucking matter at all? Am I not a human being? You know what I mean? Like that, like I want you to delve into why you feel that way more. Like, do you feel like this is cheating? Because that is a reasonable thing. But like when you talk to him and he's like, "Oh, it doesn't matter. I don't care." Then why is he in this server?
And also, but like,
and then why is he doing it? And does he not feel like it's cheating? And why won't he listen to you? Because you have a valid concern, and he doesn't get to just say it's not a big deal. And you need to be able to stand up for yourself and point out like, hey, you might not think it's a big deal, but I think it's a big deal, and I would like for you to hear me out.
Yeah. And I always find that like it's kind of helpful to find like analogies where if he doesn't think it's like if you started an OnlyFans and had men sending you these messages, would it be a big deal?
Yeah.
Right? Like what's the barrier? Or like, can I be sending these messages to men?
Yeah.
Would you be okay if I were one of these women in one of these servers messaging another dude?
Yeah.
Would that be okay with you? And if he is okay with it, then like maybe you guys just have a different level of what, like if he's like, yeah, no, I wouldn't care.
If he's
fine.
okay,
it's nothing.
it still doesn't mean you should be okay with it.
Yes.
Right? Like I think that's
but it's useful information. Yeah.
To figure out like where they stand on it and maybe try to relate it to them.
Yeah.
If he's like, no, that's great. That doesn't mean you have to like reluctantly be like, well, shit, I guess I have to be okay with it.
Yeah.
Dane makes a good point. You might just have different sexual compatibilities and values, right?
Yeah. And then as Niall was like, you know, getting to it and talking about, like, at that point in time, you have to be like, hey, I'm not okay with this and I would like you to stop. And that's sort of like one of those hard lines where it's not necessarily an ultimatum, but it is important to tell your partner when I never want to like be the person that tells someone they can't do what they want to do. But if I tell someone, I'm like, hey, if we're going to be together, I'm not comfortable with you doing that.
Yeah.
If you want to keep doing it, that's fine, but we're not going to be together anymore because we're crossing a boundary that I don't want to cross in a relationship.
And they want to take your relationship in a different direction, really, because this is, again, it's akin to sexting or cheating. Again, you get to define cheating, but clearly this is a thing you feel is crossing the line.
Yeah.
So I think you need to have a proper conversation with them. I don't think what you had counted because it seems like you just got debuffed by like no, it's fine. That's not a conversation.
Yeah.
Sit down, explain your things, try to relate it to him in a way he can understand. And like, don't take bullshit answers for answers. You know what I mean? If he's like, oh, it doesn't matter, I don't care. Why are you on here then? Yeah. You know what I mean?
And if his constant rebuttal, and this is something I've been talking to my friend about quite a bit because this is an answer that my friend has been getting in her relationship where her partner, she'll bring something up, he'll do something stupid and she'll bring it up and he'll be like, oh, I don't really care. And it's like, if the answer to your problems and the answer to your insecurities and how you're feeling and your emotions is, I don't care. It might not be, I don't care about you, but the long way, it's just a long path. Once you like, if you keep answering questions as to why he doesn't care and what he doesn't care about, I promise you, it's going to circle back around to, yeah, I just don't care enough about you to also, change my behavior.
If in this situation, it doesn't really, like, saying I don't care is still saying I don't care about how upset you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And how hurt you are and how betrayed you feel. Like, it's the same thing, right? So you got to have a proper conversation. You can't just be like, well, I mentioned it and that's it. You know what I mean? But your boyfriend might just suck.
Yeah. And if that's the case, then you need to be like, cool. I hope I wish you a long No Nut November because
you're going to,
December 1st.
Destroy Dick December is going to be hard for you now.
Yeah. December 1st, you will continue to be not nutting because I'm out.
I've never heard of Destroy Dick December.
No.
And it does make me scared.
That's the thing. It's like the question we had the other day where it's like, you fucked me up. Like, I don't want my dick destroyed.
No.
I want my mom blown, not my dick destroyed.
You said my mom for a second.
Nope.
Want my mom blown. Okay.
No.
Hey, she deserves it.
I mean...
fuck, I kind of want to skip the fourth one for a different one I have.
Okay, fuck it, do it.
Pulling the rug out. They're both good, though. They're both good.
I don't care what we do.
Okay, this one's longer. This is by Endure Power. Oh, Entire Power 4409. Please explain to my husband, she's 42, he's 41, why I might be mad over his flaccid photo. I, 42, husband, 41, but married for 5.5 years. Last Christmas, he had an online affair with a woman he claims to have been in love with and pining for since middle school. They did not meet in person, but he did send her sexually explicit photos without her asking for them. Gross. What about consent? And without her sending any nudes to him, which he sent frowny face emojis about, also gross. I'm finding it extremely difficult to get over the affair due to him not following through with things he stated he would do as an apology. There's been no trust rebuilding. Specific issue in this post is one thing I've always enjoyed is seeing men jerking off, no other men while I have been married, and while my husband was having his online affair, he took a photo of himself doing this for her, exclaiming that she kept him hard for hours several times, describing his orgasm, talking about fantasizing about her, dreaming about her. I expressed my hurt and anger after he took this photo, and I was equally pissed that he had not sent one to me. After 11 months of bringing up this topic, which has affected me deeper than what it probably should, he finally sent me a photograph today, on the toilet, flaccid. He cannot understand why I'd be upset he sent me a photo like this. He said, well, you keep asking me for a photo of my junk, here it is. He doesn't understand why I'd be upset over him exclaiming how sexually excited he is in photos for other women, but can't provide the same for me. He states he's sexually interested in me. That is not him trying to make a commentary that he is not sexually interested in me. And he asks frequently to have sex with me. It's not an issue with sexual arousal in general, so it's not a photo that deliberately says I can't get excited for you, but he legitimately, or is pretending, to not understand why it would upset me when I ask for sexually explicit photos that I personally find exciting, which he's willing to send to other women while we're married, but instead I get a flaccid toilet photo instead. Why would I be angry? Could someone translate why I'm angry about flaccid toilet voting versus receiving fun ones into manspeak for him?
I don't know if there's a translation that matters because
he knows.
Because my translation is you're taking a shit and you're holding your limp dick. What about that is sexy to you, dude? Like, even if you weren't taking shit, even if you were just like taking a breather so you could sit down and get the right angle, and it's like, the toilet is inherently tied to pee and poop. We
did this, like, I think one of our first episodes.
Yeah, the Dickley Hollows.
The Dickley Hollows.
Is what we called it.
Which episode was that?
It's definitely up there. It's probably like 18 or something.
Yeah. Like, one of our very first ones, we had a thing about, like, why do men take dick pics while on the toilet? And these were with erect dicks.
Yeah.
And it's still bad. It's not hot. Unless you have a specific kink.
Yeah,
which good
unless
for
you want to see a log in there, like I don't know. I'm sure there is a subsection of people who are into that.
They're probably into that, but like I would say not a common one.
No,
I'd say commonly, as Dane said, it's pee pee poo poo place.
Yeah, it's a place where you do your bathroom stuff.
Yeah,
and that's like it's hard to look at a toilet and not immediately think that.
Yeah.
And so again,
so that's bad.
It's immediately like if I was a person who wanted to receive these pictures and someone sent me a flaccid dick pic while they're sitting on the toilet, I would immediately be like, you're shitting right now.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
You are having a poop.
Yeah.
And you were like, you know what? Maybe I'll send this to
I'll put in zero effort.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do nothing
because
at
like
all.
it's like a dick pic requires you to like, you know, a little bit of touching, get yourself hard. Lighting, camera positions, right position or whatever. You were like, I already got it all out. I'm already here. Might as well. You know what I mean? Like that's what a toilet dick pic is. It's I'm here anyway.
But even then, it's usually hard.
Yeah.
Like also, dick pics, correct me if I'm wrong, usually hard. No one's like, oh, she's gonna love my flaccid dick.
Yeah.
In fact, like most people are pretty insecure about their flaccid dick.
You know what I wanted to see? My dick at its worst.
It's absolute worst. And like, she's your wife. She knows what it looks like flaccid, presumably.
Yeah.
But like, there's no way you don't understand that this is like you were petulant and shitty and we're like, you want one? Here. Like you thought, what's the worst one I could do? And
100%.
You nailed it. Nailed the assignment of being the worst dick pic imaginable.
Yeah.
Good job. And now you're gaslighting your wife into being like, I don't get it.
Yeah, she called you out on your bullshit play, and now you're like, I don't know what you mean. What do you mean? It's like, you know.
Why don't you ever make me dinner? You like put crackers on a plate, and we're like, that's food. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Why are you upset? You want me to put food in the plate for you, right?
Yeah.
You're just being the shit. Much like the one probably floating right in between your balls.
I mean, like, there's a level of respect and commitment when a partner falters in a relationship, whether it's cheating or whatever, where you guys agree to move past it, work on the relationship, salvage what you can, and like rebuild on that. It sounds like neither of you have done that. It sounds like you haven't forgiven him for anything. it sounds like he doesn't have much remorse over anything, or he's bitter that he got caught and can't keep doing what he was doing.
Doesn't want to feel like he's the bad guy, so he's like just being a little shithead.
Yeah. So it sounds like this relationship is dead. Like it sounds like it's you're just dragging it behind the two of you.
You're definitely
like each one of you has like one leg of this body that is your relationship, and you're both sort of like going in two different directions, and this fucking, you know, dead relationship's getting fucking wishboned.
Yeah.
And eventually you'll tear that thing in half and you'll go your own separate ways. But like, it doesn't have to be that messy.
No.
You could just drop it.
Yes. Or like you could make a concerted effort to fix this, but you both need to genuinely want to do that. Yeah. Right? Like whatever you've told yourself is happening here, it's not working. Yeah. So it needs to either be, again, a conversation with a capital C, not a little like, well, we mentioned it.
Yeah.
He said I said to fix this, send me a dick pic, and he said I did it, but it's the worst one imaginable. Like that's not great. So as Dane said, you either need to cut your losses before it gets worse, or you need to sit down and actually fucking commit. Maybe do couples therapy. I don't fucking know. Yeah. You need help. Like this is not working. So fix it or abort. Don't just keep digging a hole.
Yeah. And that's really it, right? Like you need to make the choice of being like, is this worth trying to salvage? Because do you really think you deserve, or you should have to put up with having to deal with a lackluster, zero effort marriage for the rest of your life?
Yeah. And again, like he did it. It's a jab.
Yeah.
He was trying to hurt you.
And if he's not, then you have someone who
he's a fucking idiot.
Yeah. Then you have someone who's so stupid that he can't even fathom how important it is to take care of you or to do the things that you want to do. Like,
but like we all know he's just being
an idiot.
And now he's gaslighting you. All terrible things. Yeah. And it's like, I would it's hard to bring up, because I'm sure if you do bring something up, it's going to be like, I thought we were past it. Like, but like, you could be like, hey, you wouldn't send that to her. Yeah. Because she'd be like, that's gross. She probably is, because it doesn't even sound like this was a reciprocated affair. That's which is even worse. Like,
that's the thing. It does sound like
he just harassed and abused a woman.
Yeah.
Like, your husband sounds like a fucking scumbag. But don't worry, he'll frowny face you till you send him nudes.
Yeah.
You just send him frowny faces every time he sends you his fucking limp ass dick.
I'm worried that like she's also like putting stink on her. If that's the case, if it was an unreciprocated sort of like him pining over this woman that he's been obsessed with for years.
See, that's like, it's not even an affair at that point, is it? It's just an assault.
And that's and like really that's all the information. Like if that's the case, and it's hard to say, right? Like we're just positing now. If the case is that she never reciprocated, never asked for any of these things, which you said,
you did say that part.
Right? Like, then perhaps he's, you know, when someone shows you who they are, you kind of have to believe them.
And that's the thing. Like, I think it's a very different story to forgive someone for cheating, which, like, it's shit, obviously. Yeah. But, like, I could understand it more than just assault, which is
100%.
This. So it's like, I think that's actually something you shouldn't forgive.
No.
You know? Like, I think there's such a level of being a scumbag, because he's still cheating on you. He's just also abusing somebody else.
Yeah.
Whereas in the other case, he's cheating on you and presumably they are willing, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. Sometimes you just got to cut your losses.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's something you have to think long and hard about. And I think you need to, if it's worth it to you, have this conversation and be like, do you really not understand why a limp dick toilet pitcher is not acceptable? And if he's like, no, I don't, then it's like, then I don't trust you to understand what is and isn't acceptable.
Yeah.
Right? Because you thought it was acceptable to cheat on me or to send this woman unsolicited dick pics and to send her, you know, to ask her for nude, blah, 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 blah. All these things.
I'd be like,
you thought that was okay. You think this is okay. I can't imagine a world where you will continue to make choices that aren't okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, be like, oh, so what if they're both like, are they both equal value in your eyes? The one where you're hard and saying all these cool things and it's presumably a good picture, and then the one where you're sitting on the toilet flaccid. Do you think
and your rationale is, well, you wanted one?
Yeah,
right. It's like if you were to rate these, give them dollar values. If this was your OnlyFans page, how much would you charge for this one, and how much would you charge for this one? You know what I mean? It's like, if he's like, they're the same price, then he's a fucking idiot and a liar.
Yes, yes.
Because I don't think anyone...
It's just an accident that you sent her a good one and me the shittest one imaginable?
Yeah. It's like, you know, if you had a really hot, like, bikini pic, be like, what would you buy this over sort of like you, like, just taking a straight close-up picture of like, your vagina or something? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just being like, what one would you rather receive?
Yeah.
But it's bad. So just just make the hard call. I think you have to do.
Yeah, the more we talk about this, fuck this dude.
Yeah.
Let him go be a lonely No Nut November loser.
Yeah.
You want one more?
What time is it?
42?
Yeah, but let's do a quick one.
My 25-year-old male, this is by Torre Ryle. My 25-year-old male girlfriend, 22-year-old females, awful at sex. How do I fix this? Girlfriend is the best thing that's ever happened to me. We've been dating for over a year and things are going great. We're getting ready to move in together by January. Issue is the sex is the worst I've ever experienced. It's like what I would imagine having intercourse with a dead body is like.
Ugh.
She doesn't do anything or offer any feedback. She stays in one spot, lifeless. Which sucks because she's the hottest woman I've ever been with. Completely out of my league. Like all men would probably rate her a 10 out of 10. We've tried different positions and for 2 minutes she'll be fine. Then revert to her lifeless routine. The interesting part about this is I've only initiated sex maybe twice in our relationship. She wants it every day. Thank God she has beautiful face and body because finishing would be nearly impossible without them. I've had conversations with her about things we should try, but never told her directly she's terrible at sex to save her confidence. Pretty sure I'm not her first, since she does have a son.
Yeah, man. Yep.
Well, I'm pretty sure I'm not her first.
I'm like 90% sure.
Since she does have a son. At this point, I'm not sure what else I could do. Not thinking about leaving her, but it would be great if we could bring mutual satisfaction for both parties. Thanks. First, we gotta solve the mystery.
I'm gonna bet. Well, I mean, tis the season for immaculate conception.
True.
I mean, not really, because Jesus was born like
maybe that's why she's so like unwilling to engage, because like God can see everything.
Yeah.
Jesus maybe too.
Is her name Mary?
It is.
Yeah.
This dude's a carpenter. He's delivering that wood.
So yeah, hey dude, good job for not telling your girlfriend that she sucks in bed. Solid play.
Yeah, good.
Bad choice to do that. What I think,
immediately hide this post. She can never read this post.
Yeah, you need to just throw your whole computer out the window. Change apartments. Like, what do you like about this woman? Because so far all you've said is hot. Beautiful face and body, 10 out of 10.
The best thing is, like, I don't know if he's ever thought about this woman because he's not even sure she's had sex, despite her having a son. So it's like, surely you know if that's her biological son, right?
I think I'm assuming he's it's a bit like kind of a cavalier. Do we? I'm gonna hope that that's the case. There's a couple things happening. Sometimes I have found in my personal life when people are exceptionally attractive, they feel like that is their contribution.
My work here is done,
that is their contribution to the experience, and that their presence and their physical attributes are enough to warrant to coast them through the experience.
I also feel like a lot of people in that like super hot category land people who suck and like want them purely just for that, and are kind of like almost trained on bad sexual experiences because they're just a piece of meat to these people.
And then there's also like there's a level of sex that is unattractive, right? The noises and the shapes and the body shapes and whatever, and it's like it might be a thing where she wants to stay as still as possible. Try to be
pristine, so she's not going to bend forward because then she gets a belly roll.
She gets some tummy rolls, or she makes a weird face, or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like maybe her
she's
O face is like
stealing the entire time.
Yeah, maybe her O face is like a real messed up, mangled masterpiece of whatever. Where it's like,
I love that band, messed up, mangled masterpiece.
Yeah. You know, so it's like there might be that coming into play where she has her insecurities of like she has this sort of like physical natural beauty, and that when dudes see something that's not perfection or a 10 out of 10, they get grossed out or turned off or whatever. Because I think you're right. I think there is a level of sexual experiences of women who get trained on really bad expectations and bad of sort of just like, oh, I'm going to lie here and I'm going to be hot and just kind of like tune out while a dude furiously pounds me until he comes in like 18 seconds and then we're going to call it.
Yeah, because like the people, like everybody is going to want to sleep with this person if they're that hot, right? So a lot of people who want to sleep with them only want to sleep with them for that. Yeah. Or like it's a conquest or it's whatever. Like I know a lot of people who are exceptionally attractive who grow up and get this really twisted view of sex and relationships because they've been mistreated, because sadly, people just, that's it. That's their entire worth to a lot of people. And often you're like, oh, well, that guy's exceptionally hot. I should sleep with him. And he also sucks because he's also super,
Yeah.
so it's a bad spiral. That could be it.
Because there is like, I think there's like a phenomenon. And I think that's specifically why this is, where it's like you meet someone and like, I've worked with a ton of women who are like absolutely gorgeous.
Mhm.
And just, if we're doing the rating, 10 out of 10s, whatever, right? Like just
We got him, folks. Cancel.
Yeah.
We don't like that.
absolute smoke shows. And then you meet their partners and you're like, this guy, him? And then you meet him and he's an incredibly nice, super lovely, like really, really cool guy. And you're like, oh, you're even hotter now because,
for sure, yeah.
because you've probably dealt with all the like hot bro dudes and have found someone who loves you and cares about you and respects you and
Someone
treats
good.
you
Yeah.
well.
Like, you could get anyone you wanted, so that 10 out of 10 guy walking by, you could have him if you want,
Yeah.
and you don't because he sucks.
Yeah.
Not that hot people suck, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, we've met people.
we've met people. There is, yeah.
Not that hot women suck either. Not that, like, these are generalizations based on, like, things that happen. Doesn't mean everybody is that.
Yeah. Again, it's like we know a lot of hot people who are absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
so,
there's this one guy, Dame Miller.
I don't know. I don't like it. I
So
had to get away.
There's also like sexual trauma. You know what I mean? That can be a thing when people like clam up. It could be that they don't even know. Maybe they're having so much fun that they're like in their own head and just like fucking, out of it. So we've talked about it before. I think a really good thing in this situation is, as you said, not to be like, hey, you suck in bed.
Yeah.
Positive reinforcement,
Mhm.
right? If they do a thing you like, you say, ho, that was so fucking hot. I meant to say, oh, I kind of said ho. I'm not saying, hey, ho.
Hey, ho. Ho.
Ho, that was really hot. No. You say like, hey, that was super hot. Or you ask for things. You say like, hey, like kiss my neck. Or like, hey, like, how does that feel? Like,
Yeah. You also say like in it, he's like, oh, it's good for like 2 minutes. And then she reverts back.
Change positions every 2 minutes.
Or
never set a timer.
every 2 minutes. But like,
Gone in
if
60
you notice,
seconds,
if
man.
there's a distinct shift, check in with your partner
Yeah.
when that happens and be like, oh, is everything okay? Like, does that feel good? Does that, you know what I mean? Like, figure out, like, you're about to move in with this person. That's a big step.
Yeah.
Don't beef it because you haven't had this conversation yet.
Or like you could be like, hey, we were having sex and like when we started doggy, like it seemed like you were really into it. It was really hot. You were like making sounds and like blah, blah, blah. But then like after a little while, like you got really quiet and like still, I just want to check in. Like, was everything good?
Yeah. I
And
want to
then
make sure I'm not hurting you. Yeah. Make it about
you're asking.
Yeah.
You're checking in. You're paying attention. You're not saying you suck. You're just pointing things out. But you're also reinforcing that first 2 minutes. It was really hot. You were doing these things I like. Boom. There we go. Masterclass.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Because she might be like, maybe it's like, like, oh, when I'm about to come, I need to like focus.
Yeah.
I need to be laser focused and I need to like
the cum zone.
Yeah. And it's like, I know women who are like that, who are like, they're very, very loud, very, very, animated and enjoying everything. And then the second it's time to like zero in, it's like pretty much just breathing. And you're like, especially when you're going down on them because you can't see anything, but it's like loud. Like, and then it's just
I'm in the middle of something and then it's like, oh shit, we've just hit dead air. And then it's like a glance, you're like, no, we're going.
Yeah. It's like, oh no, she's beat red and holding onto the bed. Yeah. It's like barely.
She's not on this planet anymore.
Yeah. It's like, okay, great.
Yeah. So check in, like ask questions. Again, do not say you suck in bed, but positively reinforce what you like. Question the things that make you concerned and like work together, communicate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You need to be able to do this to have a good relationship, to move in together, to do it all. I believe in you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much
for joining us. We love you.
This comes out on my birthday.
Whoa. Well, we're about to go get drunk a little bit for your birthday.
Just a tiny bit.
Yeah. I'm excited.
So if you want to give me a real cool birthday gift, consider supporting us on Patreon or send this to your friend who's been struggling. Because we all have a friend who's doing a bad job in their relationship. Maybe they're really jealous. Maybe they've been single for a long time and having a rough go in the dating world.
Maybe they're doing No Nut November and you're worried once they hit December, they will actually destroy their own day.
Yeah. There's a number of reasons why someone would benefit from this. Maybe
also, send it to your fun friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we're not just here for the people struggling. We're here for the cool people. You know what I mean? Someone who wants to get a laugh out of this. Maybe someone who could like, I like to think we can all benefit from things. You know what I mean? So if you got this, it doesn't mean you're that shitty friend that's struggling. It might just be you're cool and you want to listen to some hopefully cool people be hopefully funny.
Yeah. And we've got like 320 episodes or something like that for you to just binge. And the nice thing is you could just go, I met someone at work the other day who was like, was like, oh yeah, I listened to your podcast. Like it was a lot of fun. I really like just going through and finding titles that make me laugh or like
And
make me like,
Let me
curious.
tell you, as the person who doesn't do the titles, I love finding out what the titles are, and they make me laugh.
Yeah. So you don't even have to like listen to, I think there's a bit of a through line in terms of jokes that we make. So you might be confused on like some of the stupid shit we do.
But that's just adds to the fun.
Yeah. But you can listen to whatever episode you want. So just send your friends your favorite episodes. And
I think last week's one was good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I had fun.
Thank you very much for listening. It does mean the world to us that you're hanging out with us, and listening and sharing. Thank you.
It's wild, and we love you. And if we've interacted with you, we love you. And if we haven't, I want you to know we do. Like, it really does mean every single person who listens to every single episode. It actually means so much. We love doing this, so I hope you had fun.
Yeah.
Thank you, Josh Eagle and the Harvest Cities, for the song Paper Stars. I'm going to read you out some bad sex writing. This bad sex writing is advice.
Okay.
And I always like to find advice in places and read it out so that we know that we're doing a bad job compared to this, because this is perfect. It was about a date that went well, but the guy was very stinky.
Sure.
So,
the stinky guy.
Stinky Pinky says, as a wise man once said, the first hole you penetrate is a girl's nose. If you can't be bothered to make that experience pleasant, you might be in the market for a pet goat rather than a girlfriend.
Damn.
The first hole you penetrate is a girl's nose.
The worst thing out of all this is that he's not wrong.
He's not, well, like...
He's not wrong. Like, he's just done it in the absolute wrongest way.
Yeah. Yeah, like...
It's like
when we said it the worst way imaginable.
Yeah, you failed successfully.
Yeah.
Or successfully failed. One way or the other.
Who fucking knows?
Either way, I wish you hadn't said the words that you said.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Dave Miller.
And I'm Niall Spain.
We've been your fuck buddies.